What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwin.
Looks like somebody's got to go to the doctor.
Never.
And we're back to answer your questions in another installment of Take Gersh to the Ambulance.
Greater Wah.
There you go.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And that is what? Who?
Are we doing the one?
Yeah.
All right. This one's by Ross Wolf. Great question. This is the one that we were supposed to cover the day before, but it was so juicy, so thick and meaty. We got to do it today. Do you prefer having a lot of the events of the War in Heaven being unknown or only hinted at? Or would you actually like to see a book series or tabletop setting about the War in Heaven? Kind of like what they did with Warhammer 40K.
What's your take?
Definitely. I for sure want to see this played out in full. I want it to be novels, miniatures, not like its own board game, but like 30K, but with 8th edition rules. That way you could still play it and maybe even like have like some own scenario of like time travel or something, where you could use maybe old ones in, you know, this time and place.
Yep, I agree. They should have all that good stuff. They should start off with novels and kind of exploring more of the War in Heaven, because I think the old ones are a perfect alien race, because I don't think that it was just one race. I think it was a confederation of multiple races, and really get influence from what they originally were supposed to be, which is like the like what is Cthulhu? What's his name? For some reason Tolkien keeps coming to mind, but it's not Tolkien. Lovecraft. So like
H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, a Lovecraftian type of like entity of like supreme power, and introduced the Catan before they were shattered. So all that kind of stuff in story form, and then bring out like a version of what they're doing with the Horus Heresy, where they brought in all the Primarchs and stuff. So bring in like the heavy hitters, like
the Silent King.
Bring in the Catan, and like the Catans would be like massive, like badass looking models.
Like, would you want them to be like the size of like Titans and stuff?
Not Titans, but like the size of like Magnus, so maybe Imperial Knights. Okay. Even though in the lore, how big were they? Do you remember?
Well, I mean, they're pretty freaking huge, though.
Yeah, because they're supposed to be like parasites, right?
They ate freaking stars.
Yeah, stars. But yeah, stuff like that, like massive creatures, and just like in Horus Heresy, they have these massive tanks. I want massive weapons of destruction.
Oh yeah. Freaking weapon that could take out a whole squad.
Even if they wanted to do like because they teamed up with the Whiz Kids, and Whiz Kids, they're pretty good at creating like smaller like skirmish games and stuff like that. So maybe like Epic, because Epic 40K used to be a thing. Somehow bring that back, but instead of being in the 40K world, do the War in Heaven. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or I just want to see some sculpts for the Necrontyr.
Yeah, that too. Very grimdark, because I mean they're supposed to be skeletons. Yeah. Next question.
This one's by Jim Dighton. Why do Imperial citizens have such a high birth rate if the conditions they live in are so terrible?
Because they're human, and humans will like get it on anywhere. Because if you think about it, third world countries, there's more children born in third world countries than there are like in our first world countries. The population of America is actually like, well, because of immigrants. So maybe not America. It's not a good example. But like if you look at like the UK and like major European nations, their population is actually going down.
Is it like people are waiting longer to have kids?
Yep, they're waiting longer. They know that, you know, I'm busy at work. I don't want to come home to a kid. Whereas like in third world countries, when you're a farmer, more kids means more help. So it's kind of the same situation in the Imperium. The more kids you have, the more they can work in the manufactorums, and like we talked about this in a previous one. Humans still love sex, so of course. There's no problems with having multiple kids. like older families, because we come from a Hispanic background and our families are huge. Like, I think 12 brothers and sisters was like normal.
Yeah.
Which is crazy
Right.
nowadays, because nowadays people only have like 1 or 2 kids. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's like you go to your mine, you're in your mining world, or you're in manufactorums or whatever. It's like, yeah, you're working a really rough work day, and when you get home, what do? Screw.
Yeah. There's no TVs.
Yeah.
So what else are you gonna do?
Right. Especially if you're like lower class, you're basically eating, working, and that.
Next question.
Jaime Lopez. What type of car would the Primarchs drive?
It depends on the Primarch, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like a chariot pulled by wolves would, of course, be
That's an interesting car.
a vehicle. I'm guessing vehicle.
He said car, girl.
Oh, well, fine. Yeah, I don't know.
Rolls Royce.
I think Dorn would definitely ride a Rolls Royce. Rolls. Yeah. Next question. I have one from Professor Donger. Aren't the Death Corps of Krieg all clones? If so, why haven't the Imperium cracked down on them? Because they need them. But yeah, they're rumored to be sack babies.
Yeah, and then you've got like kids working there too.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you're old enough to walk, you're old enough to be a Krieg soldier.
Yeah. Next one.
This one's by Edmund Morrissey. With the warp being fluid in time, has a Chaos Sorcerer or a Dark Mechanicus ever tried to go back in time to enslave or destroy the Emperor in his earlier life?
Not that specific scenario, but yes, there's an entire faction called
Chrono.
Yep.
It's like
Ordo-Cronus.
Ordo-Cronus, there you go.
And that is an order of the Inquisition that is specifically tasked to stop individuals who are trying to time travel to change the past.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's possible, but it's extremely difficult.
And once you involve time travel, things get very convoluted, and it's just
Vomit-inducing.
kinda. But there is one Chronomancer, I believe, or Chronomancy. The Necrons have cryptechs that specialize in that, and there's a certain cryptech that has constantly tried to go back in time to prevent like this huge thing that basically has shamed him, and every time he goes back in time, he can't fix it. So maybe this has something to do with like fate and Zeech and all that stuff, but it's like it's like he's almost like trapped in a time loop.
That's actually really cool. I have not heard about that. Did we already create a 40 facts on it?
I don't think so.
Oh, we need to. Next question comes from Samuzvek.
Who?
Samuzvek. Isn't the strong machine spirit contained in some imperial technology like Titans, Knights, Centurion armor just a borderline man of Iron Age AI that the machine cult couldn't remove from re-engineering STC into practice? It leaves to interpretate that the machine spirit of the technology described as possessing a strong-willed machine spirit has an actual AI, not fully understood by the Mechanicum, leaving users at the mercy of the wild AI, trying to control the equipment while the pilot has to override it manually through sheer power of will. Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, that could be what's happening. STCs would have already... But see, the problem is, like, whenever they build... Like, an Onager Doomcrawler is something that really revolutionized... It's an STC found on Mars that revolutionized, like, vehicles in general. Mm-hmm. And that's thought to have a strong machine spirit. But then that means that the Imperium has the blueprints and read the blueprints. I don't know how they would be able to create the AI without knowing that they're creating the AI, because they're constantly reproducing. Onager Doomcrawlers, thank you. But yeah, that's a possibility. And that's something that I'll talk about when we do our 40 facts on the machine spirit, because there's someone who keeps posting or suggesting it, so much so that I think he's being marked as spam.
Oh.
But yeah.
But yeah. Machine Spirit is something that I'm really intrigued in, especially with the whole like theory of the Void Dragon being the cause of that. So, Marcel Goussard, who would win in a rap battle between Yarick and Cyphus Cain? I gotta give it up to Cyphus Cain because Cyphus sounds a lot like Cypher, and if you got a hard cipher going on, you'll do good.
And I think Yarick at this point is just kind of not even human, like a normal. He doesn't think like a normal person. He's all about like killing orcs, killing God's cool. He's it's like that crime story where like the cop is trying to chase the bad guy.
And he gets so involved with his case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He loses everything just to finally crack it and find out, was it all worth it?
Exactly. Boom, boom, boom. Next question comes from
Primark.
Yep.
What is Imperial life like for children within the Imperium, or the various types of worlds?
It depends on what caste you fall in, and they're not castes like the Tau have castes, but like
what hierarchy in society, like lower class, upper class.
Yeah.
There's no real middle class though.
No.
It's either you're like
Either
blinging
scum
or
you rich.
you loyal. But for the most part, it's either really good or really depressing. Usually, as soon as you're able to, you're going to be working if you're lower class. Or if you're in the upper class, you're going to be all like going to like balls and trying to marry families, get power and all that.
And then you're also trying to prevent yourself from being killed. So we have a 40 facts on the Highborns. We have a 40 facts on the Outcast. We have a 40 facts on... there's another one. But so check those videos out, and that gives you an explanation as to what it would be like for a Terran child.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's not good.
Right.
Yeah, last question.
Aiden Kale, kind of on the same topic. Is it possible to live a fulfilled and productive life in the Imperium of Man? Everything is war and honor and zeal, but is it even possible to truly have peace and hope for mankind, not just to survive, but to live?
Yes. Especially if you're born in the right place and you have the right resources. If you're a highborn and you're born into a family that has had a lot of wealth and you're smart enough, you're going to expand on that wealth. The Dark Heresy novel is full of individuals and families that have been able to prosper and thrive. Yeah, they're committing like heinous things and stuff like that, and they're backstabbing people. But that's only bad because we think of it as bad. Like they're still having good lives. Does that make sense?
Kind of. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a good life, because at any point you could have a freaking warp portal open up and demons can just spill in. Mm-hmm. So it really depends on a lot. Most of the time, things don't go in your favor.
Right.
But, for those very few people, it is a possibility.
Yep.
And those were the questions for today. As always, guys, keep on asking those questions. They're very good. They're very thought-provoking. And, we'll keep answering them.
This was Gershwan.
Sound Alchemist, and we're out of here.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.